On Sunday night, the House of Assembly in Rivers State experienced an explosion that was said to be carried out by armed men with explosive devices. But it was quickly put out, put out the fire by the fire service successfully. The incident came amid alleged moves by 24 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly to impeach Governor Siminalayi Fubara. The lawmakers who are alleged to be loyal to the immediate past Rivers State governor and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, had signed an impeachment notice against the embattled governor early Monday morning.
Now, some lawmakers in the state legislature moved to impeach, or first of all, impeach the House leader Eddison Ehie in order to pave the way for Fubara's removal. However, the former House leader, Eddison, has currently been elected as the new speaker, while the chief judge of Rivers State, Simeon Amadi, has been suspended by the Rivers State House of Assembly. The new speaker and head of Rivers State House of Assembly, Eddison Ehie, of course, sacked then all 23 local government chairmen. It's mostly confusing. Just navigating through the legality or illegalities of these sacks and these impeachments and these declarations here and there. But let's bring in political analyst Opunabo Inko-Tariah. He's a former special advisor to the former Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, who's currently, of course, the Minister of the FCT. Good morning, Mr. Inko-Tariah. Good to have you.
Good morning, Osa, Olive, and Nigerians.
I'm not sure how you are also, navigating the confusion going on in Rivers State as of today. Yesterday, there were videos of the governor being chased with water cannons. He alleged that he was shot at. There's also, the issues with the House of Assembly, which was allegedly bombed or set fire to. New speaker or an old speaker, local government chairman allegedly removed. It's a lot. Give us your take on what the situation is over there and what might be playing out.
Well, as we speak right now, Nigerian Rivers people are a little bit confused as to what the actual situation is because you have conflicting reports. But if you go, I want to say conflicting reports, you're talking of the House of Assembly. But the governor is still the governor of the state because he has not been impeached and removed. So he remains the governor of the state. It is alleged that he was given a letter of impeachment or notice of impeachment. But until that impeachment and removal is carried out, he remains the governor of the state. On the issue of the Speaker of the House of Assembly, it's an internal matter. It is within the variance of the legislators to decide who will be their speaker and who will not be their speaker. But from the snippets of information gathered, the new speaker is, I think, Eddison, the man who was removed as leader of the House. And eventually there was a U-turn, somersault from other members of the House. And I think those who were loyal to the former governor of the state and minister of the Federal Capital Territory had a rethink and decided to pledge their loyalty to Governor Siminalayi Fubara. And they came together and elected a new speaker, allegedly, who was the leader of the House that was removed. Now, we had two sessions yesterday. Of course, the maize, we don't know which one is the real maize and the artificial maize that was used. But whatever it is, if the members of the House of Assembly say this is their speaker, and they are in majority, that is their speaker. So, as per the House of Assembly, there's a little bit of controversy there as to who is the speaker and who is not the speaker. But the governor remains the governor of Rivers State.
So just confirm, I'm sorry, Olive, just to confirm, Eddison Ehie is currently the speaker after yesterday's event?
There was a somersault. Okay. Most members, these things are just snippets of information, like I said, coupled together. The Eddison has said he's the new speaker.
Okay.
The former speaker has not refuted that so far. And from what we gathered, all those who were supposed to be loyal to Nyesom Wike had a somersault and decided to pledge their loyalty to Simeon Fubara by supporting the new speaker, the so-called new speaker. Let me put it that way, because we are yet to ascertain the veracity and apocryphalness of what went on in the Rivers State House of Assembly. But I think today the supposed new speaker said he was going to address the press and was going to have the first session as a speaker. So let's wait and watch. By the end of today, everything will become clearer who is the Speaker of the House of Assembly.
I mean, it is very important, of course, that we wait to hear from the supposed new speaker. But let's talk about how the minister of the FCT and the former governor of Rivers State got involved in all of this. There have been allegations about some sort of rivalry between him and the current governor of Rivers State. Rivalry between successor and predecessor is nothing new or novel in Nigeria. But if you have an idea of how he got involved in all of this, we'd like you to please share, or how his name has gotten involved in all of this.
The truth is, we look at what I refer to as pestilence of godfatherism. You know, Governor Simeon Fubara has been so much appreciated by the former governor, who feels that he is instrumental to the emergence of Simeon Fubara, and therefore Simeon Fubara is beholden to him. And so those of us in Rivers State who are seized of the facts, we can tell you authoritatively that up to then, Simeon Fubara was more or less like a PA to Governor Nyesom Wike, to former Governor Nyesom Wike. And he was so referred to in Rivers State because for every decision to be taken, it will even surprise you that for mandates to be signed, Simeon Fubara took the papers to Governor Nyesom Wike, and that's why Wike was always important. Then he was practically banned from getting into Abuja. What is the whole essence of that? So that he doesn't mingle, he doesn't mix with other fellow governors, and they don't sell certain funny ideas, in quote, funny ideas to him to say, you are the governor, you should assert your independence, and so on. It was in the open, I think it was the church service, where the former governor said he doesn't want to hear anything about first lady and no first lady. And for that reason, we've not heard about the governor's wife. I'm talking about Governor Siminalayi. All this, the CSO was nominated, I don't want to say appointed because the appointing authority is the governor, but was nominated by the former governor. The commissioners were nominated by the former governor. The PAs were nominated, and SAs, when I say SAs, the special assistants, no advisors right now, nominated by the federal government, by the former governor Nyesom Wike, and also even the SSG, everything. So the guy was being choked. He had no grace to say he was going to even give out contracts and so on. There was an instance where somebody was standing behind him, I'm talking about Governor Simeon Fubara, and Wike was agitated and started asking, who is that person standing behind the governor? Who is he? What's his relationship with the governor? Well, I mean, it was so petty. So the guy was actually being choked. And I think persons must have said to him that you are not the governor. What you are allowing now, Wike wouldn't have brooked it. Whatever it is, yes, Wike himself was somebody who also helped him to become a governor. We have likes of President Jonathan especially, who helped him to be a governor. What happened? What was his relationship with the Rotimi? So assert yourself. And this is, I'm talking of now the remote cause. Then we have the proximate cause. Well, what is that proximate cause? The appointment of a commissioner without the premature former governor Nyesom Wike, and the decision of Simeon Fubara to also look into the projects that were abandoned by Wike and Governor Rotimi and Mrs. projects like the Songhai Farm and so on. This got Nyesom Wike infuriated. You say, man, a bad man, we abandoned those projects in order to demonize Rotimi and Mrs. And now you are coming to reactivate those projects. How dare you? And the man was more interested in projects that will benefit Rivers people. Like the Songhai Farm, especially, a lot of Rivers people were angry. Money was pumped into that project, and it was a symbiotic thing. It was generating funds for Rivers people and employment. It was abandoned for political reasons. And the new governor, Simeon Fubara, said, no, we cannot abandon this. We cannot sacrifice the interests of our people at the altar of politics. Let us also look into those projects. Whether it was initiated by Rotimi and Mrs., initiated by you or not, it doesn't matter. The issue is the beneficiaries are going to be Rivers people. They started having that spark. They started having that problem. There was even a situation where the former governor came to Government House and was shouting at the governor. It is a non-secret, it's not hidden. I was shouting at him for taking certain decisions. So the recent one, I said the proximate cause is the issue of the appointment of a commissioner. How dare you appoint a commissioner without my consent, without my knowledge? How dare you do this, going to the Songhai Farm without my consent, without my knowledge? Are you trying to rubbish me? And this was it. And that was what caused the whole problem. So, wow. Okay, look at, let me give you another example. The issue of the tribunal case where the governor won. You can imagine the whole local government chairman, the whole assembly member flew into Abuja to celebrate with with former Governor Nyesom Wike, who's the FCT minister. Wike didn't win that election. Wike was not in contest. So how can you go to Abuja to celebrate with me? Only the governor was left here. And he started making calls to say, you people should come and celebrate with me. That was unfair. So the governor couldn't book it anymore, and he felt it was time for me to break. You know, when a man is pushed to the wall, you bounce back with a double effort. What happened was Wike's pestiferousness. He was becoming too overbearing. I'm not talking of a guesswork. It's not a conjecture. If you're a Rivers man, you will know. In fact, those even outside Rivers State can attest to this fact. There was nothing Fubara could do without Wike's approval. I'm not just talking of Wike's knowledge, Wike's approval.
I mean, but what was this?
What is wrong with you?
Yeah, just to clarify, because I don't know, I don't know if any of us here knows the details, but were these agreements that were made before he was picked or nominated to become the flag bearer of the PDP in Rivers State, with the level of support that Nyesom Wike maybe also gave him before he became, of course, the flag bearer and eventually won the elections? Were these agreements that maybe they had, that this would be the level of influence that he would have, after he becomes governor?
Well, one cannot say for sure if those were the agreements reached. But even if they were, the former governor, I keep saying governor, he just left office. Former Governor Nyesom Wike, well, from the Supreme Court judgment now, he's also governor of FCT now. Only Vulago, she's a lawyer, so she knows that going by the Supreme Court government judgment, now he's governor of FCT. What a funny judgment. Let's leave that. Even if that was the agreement they reached, but Governor Nyesom Wike was I keep saying governor. The FCT minister was a governor, and he should appreciate and understand the powers of a governor and the yearning for independence for every governor. You should understand that. Whatever agreement you reached with the governor is none of our business.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's borderline illegal even. Because, for
example, yes, that's what I said. For example, let's look at the masquerade. You pay for a masquerade, you pay to watch a masquerade, and those who brought out the masquerade also pay for it. And they say, oh, fine, it's for your pleasure. But you come out and you watch that masquerade for too long. After a while, the masquerade at the market square is being mocked. Why? Because you outlived your usefulness. You should appreciate when to stop and when not to stop. Look, there's nothing wrong with you as a predecessor trying to nominate somebody, trying to influence certain judgments, but not trying to dominate. That is the problem.
And it's not something that is new to Nigerian
all
politics.
the commissioners were nominated by the former governor. All, not one by Fubara. And now the man is saying, now the last time he wanted to nominate some commissioners, the former governor flew into Rivers State, and they had a major problem. In fact, Fubara said he was going to leave the office, that he's sick and tired. He said that much. And in fact, we were very angry. How can you say you're going to leave the office? The seat belongs to the state, and for now, you're holding in trust.
Very quickly, Mr.
Yes.
Inko-Tariah, before we head to our correspondent in Rivers State who will give us live update of what's happening, some have referred to this as a measure of karma because they have said that this is exactly, in some way, the way that the former governor of Rivers State was with his predecessor. Do you see this as karma, a karma of some measure?
Yes, retributive justice. It's happened, it will continue because look at between Odele and Rotimi Amechi. Between Amechi and Nyesom. First, between Odele and Ada Judge. Odele was Ada Judge's deputy governor. Eventually, one of the first persons Odele arrested was Ada Judge's son. Ada Judge was treated as a leper in Odele's government. Now you have Rotimi Amechi, Odele. Then you have, what's his name again? Nyesom Wike, Amechi. Now you have Fubara, Nyesom Wike. So it's retributive justice.
We wonder when this cycle will be broken. Let's head over to our correspondents. We'll come back to you, Mr. Inko-Tariah.
It will be broken now.
All right.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We have Nyesom Wike in Rivers. Let's see exactly what's happening, and then we'll come back to wrap up the conversation with you. Good morning, Niyi. Okay. What exactly is going on in Rivers State at the moment? There's a lot of confusion. What's exactly happening there?
Good morning, Olive. And I can see even in the studio, it's not less heated, not physically, but of course verbally there. Just you can see just behind me, this is a view of the government house in Rivers State, Port Harcourt. And it's calm, sealed off from public entrance, or just special people or people who are actually working there, or security operatives are allowed to gain entrance into this place. And let me just give you quick information before I tilt your view to what is happening on my left-hand side here. So for now, we know that the chief judge has been sacked by the current governor. The chief of staff has been sacked. The chief security has also been sacked. The governor has dissolved the local government chairman. He has also dissolved the cabinet, which is for the commissioners. So all these are ongoing simultaneously. Now, let me just tilt you to the left-hand side here. As you can see, a number of youth, not youth physically, adults, young ones, older ones, just gathered here, hoping that nothing will happen here. I was speaking with one of them, although some of them didn't want to speak with us on camera. They said they are just here to secure peace. And just inside this complex here, you can see a handful of them are here, and they still keep trickling in to ensure that nothing goes in here, all in solidarity of the Governor Siminalayi Fubara, and of course to ensure that there's peace within this corridor.
Okay, have you heard any thing, that may have triggered what's going on, what has happened in the last 48 hours in Rivers State? Because, the governor has barely been there 6 months. It's shocking to hear of impeachment moves already being threatened. So, did you get any information from people you've spoken with as to what may have happened, that has led to the allegations of him being impeached?
Okay, yeah, so we can vividly say from the comments of the governor that there's an impeachment move. But there are also rumors that this might be some sort of rift between the former governor and the current governor, and that's Nyesom Wike. And one will come to us because it's just barely 6 months. It's not even up to 6 months. We remember that during Wike's Thanksgiving, for the end of his tenure, there were so much accolades he put on the current governor, who was an accountant general in his own administration, and of course was instrumental to his administration at the time. So these coming up, but we can't put any credibility to the fact that this is generating from a rift between the governor, because none of them has actually come out directly to say that this impeachment or the move is as a result of the rift between the two governors. But what we know is that 24 lawmakers on the House of Assembly voted out suspended the majority leader, and of course they moved for the impeachment of the governor. However, the majority leader that was actually suspended also claimed that 26 of that same member of House of Assembly voted him back to be the speaker now of the House. Now, my mathematics might be poor, but of course, politically, if the House is supposed to have 32 lawmakers, 24 plus 26 certainly is over 32. So these are the rancors that are ongoing at the moment. There are questions to if any sitting done so far by the lawmakers is even valid, because knowing that the chambers of the assembly was actually razed by fire, not the old building, but the chambers. So sittings are just ongoing at various parts of the structures in different factions. So now we have 2 factions in the assembly. So what we can only hold on to right now is the fact that there's an impeachment move, which has been confirmed by the governor, and of course the lawmakers has also pushed that out as a narrative.
All right, Nii, from what you're telling us, a large number of young people are camped outside the government house in support of Governor Fubara. Now, this tension or seeming tension that has been brewing over there, can it be felt all around Port Harcourt? Is it felt in other parts of the state? What's the general mood like?
So I'll just bring your attention to happenings here, and just at the entrance of this place, you can see there's not heavy per se, but there's police presence. But we moved across the state yesterday, and of course we could tell you that there is actually calm. The worry, however, is that if this tension continues and if it keeps growing, so many things might begin to happen. One is the fear of pipeline vandalism. And of course, neighboring states are also worried, like Bayelsa, who is preparing for his off-cycle election. Now, these are the concerns if this degenerates further. But for now, everything is okay. There's no tension whatsoever, and we've not seen any uproar. But we can see people chanting and in solidarity of different factions they represent in Port Harcourt.
All right. Nyesom Wike, please do stay safe.
And for the fire, let me just add this.
Oh, yes, please. Go ahead.
And for the fire, the police confirmed that investigation is still ongoing because they need to know who actually set the chambers of the House of Assembly ablaze.
All right. We look forward to hearing, getting a clearer picture as to what exactly is going on. And I know you're on ground. This is a developing story. More facts will emerge. I want you to please stay safe. Nyesom Wike, that's our reporter there, live in River State, Port Harcourt, to bring us update. We're still joined by Opunabo Inko-Tariah, and he's been giving us his fair share or his analysis on the happenings. Opunabo Inko-Tariah, are you surprised by any of the things he's mentioned? He's talked about the large number of people who have turned out en masse to support Governor Fubara, standing outside the government house to sort of keep the peace.
Well, a lot of us are not surprised. Why are we not surprised? We expected it, but it came earlier than expected. But we anticipated this rift. Why are we not surprised? Because of the overbearing nature of the former governor. Even as a governor, I mean, I can tell you that a lot of people were sick and tired. We were waiting for an opportunity to breathe fresh air. And so when Sim was more or less kowtowing, when he was more or less being affected by the former government, because we were not happy, because we wanted a breath of fresh air. We wanted a new style of governance. So a lot of us were, and that's why you see that solidarity there. And don't forget that the upland, a lot of people say, let's forget about the riverine upland that cut off. You cannot wish it away. You cannot. And the upland has been in government for about 24 years. This is the first time since 1999 you're going to have a riverine man and a German in government. So some persons believe there is an attempt, because if you remove the governor, definitely accept the governor has been ousted by the courts. But if you remove the governor to impeachment, then the deputy governor is an uplander.
All right.
And we all have a conviction that the deputy governor is somebody that has been tips. We are talking of information, we don't have the facts, so to say. The governor is here to speak, the former governor is here to speak. But from snippets information are coupled together, and for those of us.
All right, we seem to have lost the connection with Inko-Tariah there, Opunabo Inko-Tariah, in River State. We will, of course, have him join us in a few seconds, or rather reconnect in a few seconds, and continue that conversation. I also would like to ask about the possibility of, Mr. Inko-Tariah,
yes.
So we need to move into something going on in Bayelsa also, but I want you to keep this question in mind, the possibility of peace talks, as they have been called now, between the factions in River State. There's someone who shared that the state PDP elders have met with the governor to reconcile him with the former governor of the state. Has mentioned Felix Obua, Sarah Igbe, Ima Ayawu, OCJ Okocha, Ferdinand Anambra, and Anambraba, I hope I pronounced it right, Ken Chikere, and a couple of other people. Of course, there's also the talk of ex-militants threatening to support one side or the other in this crisis. But before we get you to react to that, let's quickly share this, with you. There's a video clip, of course, that emerged in social media showing the APC deputy governorship candidate in Bayelsa state governorship election, Mr. Joshua Makaiva, telling supporters in the state to drive anyone who misbehaves on election day to the sea to die. Yes, let's quickly share with you. In quote, he said, drive anyone who misbehaves on election day to the sea to die. It's a former militant leader in a viral 33-second video made the statements on Saturday, October 28th, when campaigning in Tuan-Bras, in the Bras local government area of the state. Let's take a look at this.
Let's be prepared. On the 11th, don't joke with anybody. If anybody misbehaves for Tuan-Bras, just go enter the sea, make him die. Another year, just make him die. After all, not be the other person will be the first person to die. So let's prepare and let's show them that this time around, one will take it. We are taking it for final, no court movement.
Well, the elections will take place on the 11th of November. Of course, reactions have continued to pour in. The Bayelsa Women's Arise has asked the Inspector General of Police to probe the deputy governorship candidate, of course, describing the statements as incisive. But Mr. Inko-Tariah, let's quickly have you react to this. Is this the nature of politics that is being played in Bayelsa or even in the Niger Delta region as of today?
No, strong exception to that. If you talk about Bayelsa or Niger Delta region, it's a politics played nationally. We all heard what happened during the presidential election, where certain persons were asked to either vote for the APC, Mr. President, or go back to their states. These statements are incendiary, and it's a transgression of the law if you go by the Electoral Act, and even if you go by some certain provisions of the Constitution. But don't forget what Adam Nyesom said, that your sins are forgiven when you come to APC. And so they say these things and do certain things with impunity. We had the issue of MC Olumo, who threatened. It went viral. And what did the IG say at that time? He said it was a joke. How ridiculous can that be? That's the only defense. It was a joke. That he was just joking with the person. We all saw that. So it's the nature of the kind of government we have in power, where anything goes. You intimidate to get what you want. And provided you belong to a particular political party like the APC, Adam Nyesom himself said it, your sins are forgiven. And that's why they have the gumption to do what they're doing and say what they're saying. Otherwise, it's not allowed at all. But unfortunately, we live in a country where the tempest of justice blows fitfully. The administrator of justice is being caged, it's been subverted. It depends on who runs foul of the law. That we find ourselves with this. So we're cherry picking the administrator of justice. And that's why we still have it today. And I can bet you nothing will happen to this man. Nothing will happen to him. It's the call for the IG to investigate or arrest him is just flim flam. It's a fleeting illusion. Nobody will arrest him.
In the interest of time, let's also have you speak on, the statements that I read earlier about the possibility of peace talks and some names that were mentioned, and also the involvement of militant groups, threatening that they will take sides and, protect, this person or the other.
Peace is good. Everybody will pray for peace anywhere. But I can tell you, as a Rivers man and as a politician, the names you mentioned are names I know so well. Most people sue for peace, not because they love the peace, but because of their interest. These names you mentioned are all names that are associated with the former governor of the state. And I can tell you that realizing the powers of a sitting governor, they must have thought of their losses. And that's why they are now saying, let us have peace. All the names you mentioned are those, except Saragbe, are those that are on the side of the former governor. And they are bound, they start to lose. Should the rift continue? Some of them are like any government in power. So, Mr. Wike, understand this, that if we allow this to continue, we're also going to lose out. And we don't want to lose out. Let's have this peace. That's the whole essence of it. That's the truth. But I have to warn, or say this rather, to Fubara, to Governor Fubara, that in achieving this peace, certain accommodations, certain terms must be reached. He has to agree on certain things. Look, bringing back the local government chairman is going to be a fatal political mistake, because they will always be loyal. I told you what happened when they won. They will always be loyal to the former governor, who is now the FCT minister. Reappointing those commissioners will also be fatal. There was a time they were telling the former governor everything that went in the government house. This ADC was nominated by the former governor, chief of staff, everybody nominated by the former governor. There was no secret in government house. There was no secret. You need to be in Rivers State to understand what was going on in Rivers State. Yes, I agree. But I'm going to appoint all my aides. I'm going to appoint. The local government is a little bit dicey, but by next year, most of them, their tenure will despair. But if part of the peace is sacking them and appointing caretaker committee members who are going to be beholden to the Rivers State governor Yes, because they are appointed and not elected. And will also have the interest of the people at heart. Well, fine. If these conditions are met, then you talk of peace. But if these conditions are not met, then there is no need for resolution.
All right.
There's no need for resolution. I want to be as honest as I can.
Yeah, well, we'll continue to monitor. Luckily, we have Nyesom Wike, who's in Rivers State. We'll continue to monitor the situation and see where it leads. Hopefully, of course, it remains peaceful and there is some sanity, in the state. Thanks very much, Opunabo Inko-Tariah, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your conversation.
Peace of the graveyard. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. All right.